Hello vinyl community, this is Mike from TCAT's Deep Vinyl Tracks, and I'm just coming on here today to do a couple of threads, and thanks to Vinyl Martini, Jack at Vinyl Martini, for reminding me that we can do this as a double feature. So I wanted to hit two threads at once. Since I've been kind of moving and everything else, I've gotten a little bit behind, so these are some older threads, well, a couple weeks old, I think. I'm going to put them both together in one, so you get a thread double feature. So starting out with the 1 Decade 1 Record challenge. I was challenged by Garage Geek to do this, and so I've come up with a bunch of them starting from 1950, because that's really the oldest record that I have in my collection. And that would be this one from Folkways Records. This is Hootenanny Tonight. This is a Folkways record, like I said, in really good shape. And this has a lot of folk music, so I think it's quite an important document as far as how the folk music was growing during this time. There's a lot of stuff on here by Pete Seeger and several others. You got Sonny Terry, Jerry Silverman, like I said, Pete Seeger, Leon Bibb, lots of different people on this one. And vinyl is in really great shape for as old of a record as it is. And it even has the booklet with it. So if you're looking for these great folkway records, always look to see if the booklet is enclosed, because that increases the value. So that one for 1960, one very important artist from that time is Les Paul, and this is his album, The Wild Guitars of Les Paul and Mary Ford. Or it's also called, I guess it's called Brazil. I was reading the back of it. So everybody knows the importance of Les Paul and the electric guitar. This is a really great record, still in the shrink. So I was surprised to find anything by him and still in the shrink like this one. From 1970, I want to show the debut album by David Bowie. This is the one with Space Oddity on it, and this was a very important record, mostly because it launched David Bowie's career. Now, even though this record doesn't sound as much like David Bowie as his later records would sound, and probably not the best one you can find or start with, but it's still a good one to have because it showed how he developed over the years. But this is the one that started it out for him. From 1980 we're at. This is one that I just picked up and showed not too long ago. Metallica's Ride the Lightning, I think, is a very important album. This is the one I feel that Metallica began to show their strength in music composition, and especially in the heavy metal genre. It really did a lot to help develop more progressive metal, the progressive metal genre, and great album, probably one of my favorites by Metallica, Ride the Lightning. From 1990, another one I showed on that I just recently picked up was Tool's Undertow. Tool was another band that helped change the feeling of alternative metal, and also progressive metal, helped develop it and push it into the limelight. So because of Tool, there was a lot of bands out there that felt like they could go out and make this kind of music, and it also is responsible for a lot of the progressive bands that would come out in the beginning of the 90s. From the 2000s, we have this great album by Fleet Foxes. This is the self-titled album, even though it's not their first release. They released an EP or two before this. Fleet Foxes is a great indie folk band, and one that I really enjoy a lot. I love their sound. I still love this album, even though it's, been over 10 years now. Hard to believe since it was released. But just great stuff. Very imaginative music. When I listen to it, it's like what I would expect the Appalachian Mountains to sound like. Not the music, but the feeling and the atmosphere of the Appalachians is very present in this kind of music, and I just love this album. From the 2010s, one of my favorite artists, Steven Wilson. Again, another progressive artist. I'm showing a lot of progressive stuff here today. Great album by him. He broke off, well, it didn't necessarily break off from Porcupine Tree, because Porcupine Tree has released an album since, but he went out solo, and this was his first major release, I guess you could say, even though he had several solo releases before. But this is one where you could tell he was going to go be serious, and just one of my favorite albums of all time, called The Raven Who Refused to Sing. I want to make sure I got that right, and that is correct. The Raven That Refused to Sing and Other Stories. Great stuff by Steven Wilson. Very imaginative music, very well composed, and some of the best progressive rock out there that's still being made today. And from 2020, the Jones Sisters. This is music from the series Perpetual Grace. Again, I've shown this before. I know there are some of you that know how much I love this album, but it's such a great album, such great music. Just can't believe that there's not more of a demand for it. Excellent stuff. It's probably somewhere in the alternative country vein, but there's a lot more variety to it than that. The songwriting is just superb on this. Absolutely recommend this. If you can get your hands on it, I definitely would. So that does it for the decades. One decade, one record. The other thread I'd like to address on this one is a song for each day of the week, which was started by CGC Vinyl. I believe was the first one that started this. Now, I have to say that as hard as I looked and everything, I could not find or come up with a song that was about Thursday. So I'll skip over Thursday, but for Sunday, I found the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, The Last DJ. There is a song on here called, now I won't be able to find it, I bet. Blue Sunday. Okay. Blue Sunday, there it is right there. Great album by Tom Petty. A concept album. I think he only had 2 real concept albums throughout his career. But this one is just excellent. I love this album. Highly suggest it. For Monday, the band Glass Moon. This is their debut album. Great band. More of a art pop style is what they do. And there's a song on here called Sundays and Mondays. So this could actually apply for both Sunday and Monday. But I don't think anybody's going to show this album. I don't believe I've seen anybody else with a copy of it. They had 3 albums, and every single one of them were great. For Tuesday, we go with the Rolling Stones, Between the Buttons. Ruby Tuesday is on this album, on the UK version. And This comes from the Rolling Stones mono box set. This one. This particular disc is a real pretty blue color. There you go. Excellent album by the Rolling Stones, and part of an amazing box set. Between the Buttons is the name of this album. For Wednesday, we got Simon and Garfunkel, their album Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. Very nice album also. This is one that has Bleecker Street, The Sounds of Silence, Peggy O, and of course the title track, Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. If you're into Simon and Garfunkel, you know this is a great album. For Thursday, like I said, I couldn't come up with anything, so if you have any suggestions, or you can think of something I might have in my collection that I could have missed, let me know, please. For Friday, however, I got Steely Dan from Katie Lied, the song Black Friday, the song that kicks off the album. Kind of a blues-inspired number. And this is another great album that I really like, one of my favorites by them. Has that really nice jazz, kind of a jazz rock sound to it. Very nice album. And last of all, we have for Saturday, we got Ricky Lee Jones. Again, you know how much I love this album. She's such a great vocalist, great jazz rock artist, and the song in question on this one is called On Saturday Afternoons in 1963. That is on this album, but it's also was the B-side for Chucky's in Love on the single. Oh, what Goodwill sticker still on it. But love Ricky Lee Jones, love her vocals. Just trying to get everything I can from her. So there you go. So that takes care of those two threads. I hope you enjoyed that, and make sure if you would like, you can join into these threads if you haven't already. And thank you for watching, and we will talk to you later.